Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today. It is the apex of the year. It is the first day of summer. The man they call Meathead, Linda K. It is Monday, June 21st, 2021. Good morning, Linda. How you doing?
Good morning, Meathead. What a fine day of summer it is here in Milwaukee and the surrounding areas. And you know why?
Oh, just good stuff happening. Brewer stuff, Buck stuff. I mean, it's just good stuff.
Yes. I was partaking in the festivities at the Deer District this past week, cheering on our Milwaukee Bucks. And wow,
Wow.
what a game
The
seven
the
that
deer.
was.
I never knew the Deer District would end up being what it could be. That is phenomenal. I absolutely love it.
Absolutely. Just the camaraderie of everyone coming together and us helping out the businesses surrounding that area after this
Sure.
past year and just cheering on the Bucks. I am so excited to see how the Eastern Conference
You
Finals
know,
go. I mean, and
yeah,
thereafter.
I was going to say, I want to throw a shout out to a friend of PWR, a former cast member, a former panelist, the Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown. He had a tweet or a post, I want to say it was yesterday, the day before. He goes, dude, I have not seen anything like this since probably 82 Brewers. How the city literally is just coming together. This is the year. I hope this is the year. And we now know that the Bucks will be taking on the Hawks in a 7-game series. Hopefully, it's 4-game series that the Bucks sweep. But be that as it may.
Yeah, yeah, but kick off to summer, feeling great, and we had a really great pay-per-view last night as well. I don't want to jump too far ahead,
Yep,
but
yep. Well, let's start off by taking care of the people who take care of us. Linda, who's the sponsor today?
Collar and Elbow, where you can look tremendous in the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions. Make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com and use promo code Linda K. Sorry, I can't even spell. That's LINDAKAY to save yourself 10% off your order, where you would look good in that collar and elbow gear.
Yesterday was Father's Day, and I think it's going to become a tradition. I hope our friends at Collar and Elbow Brand keep the shirt up there, but the Shad Gaspard T-shirt that was up
Yeah.
there, you know, Brooklyn Strong. What I wore it yesterday. I don't have it on in front of me anymore, but you know what? Heavyweight Hero. That's the one. I
Yeah.
honestly think, in honor of him and what he did for his son, being the father that he was and, giving his life for his child, that should be your annual Father's Day t-shirt.
Absolutely. That's still up on the site, so I'm still going to support his family. And I agree with you that that's definitely a shirt to wear in memory of Shad Gaspard.
Yeah, I love it. So, one real quick bit of news, WWE news, before we get into the pay-per-view from last night. Tickets for SummerSlam almost sold out. We're going to talk to Matthew Thomas this week, but apparently he's got tickets for the show. Get in where you fit in. Apparently, they currently list the capacity of SummerSlam in Vegas at 41,661 per Ticketmaster. They've already sold them estimated 36 and 37,000. There are just a few seats left. I really do think that if they sell it out, they may reconfigure and seats will open up probably, a few weeks before the show. They just reconfigure the building, put more seats in there. I am excited to see a packed house at SummerSlam.
Yes, and as you mentioned, our own Matthew Thomas being a part of this year's SummerSlam. So, you know how he got on the big screen on Sports Center last week when he caught that ball in the Rockies game. He's going to get another chance to get on the big screen via SummerSlam.
There you go. Well, I mean, we've got somebody on the ground, boots on the ground, a reporter in the streets reporting for us at the real M Thomas. Okay, enough playing around. Let's talk pay-per-view from last night. It was Hell in a Cell, and it was very apropos. Michael Cole kicked us off at the beginning of the show and said, live for the final time on pay-per-view from the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida, it is Hell in a Cell. What that means is the next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, will be in front of live fans. So, sending us off in style, it's Hell in a Cell. I question why this one couldn't have been in front of fans and we couldn't have just had a regular non-gimmick pay-per-view blow-off.
Mm-hmm.
I Why did we have to have Hell in a Cell in June instead of its normal spot in October?
Yeah, when they first announced that, I was rather surprised at that as well. But after watching Hell in a Cell last night, I see where it had some of its advantages, having some shenanigans involving the opening, unlocking of the cage that wasn't quite revealed to the audience, to the cameras
Right.
at the moment. So there were some more elements of surprise. I still think it would have been a great one to bring back to the fans. Obviously, huge pops and tremendous matches, stipulations, but I think it worked as a great send off as far as the last pay per view at the Thunderdome. It had its ways that it worked, but overall, I think it was a great way to shut the doors, if you will, to
Shut the
pay per
doors. There you
views.
go.
There you
Close
go.
the door on the cell. Let's start off with the pre-show kickoff match. The tag team champions and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke were out there, but it was a singles match. Natalya and Mandy Rose. Natalya with these single pinfall victory over Mandy Rose in I thought an okay match. I mean, a great, let's get warmed up, let's get out there, let's wrestle kind of match. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a nice way to kick off the evening. Obviously, with this being a singles match, I can see obviously another one happening with Dana Brooke and then with Tamina in the future. And this is a tag match that's in the works. I think it's got steam and it'll eventually maybe get us to a women's tag match at the next pay per view or perhaps on Raw. We'll see. But I thought it was a good way to kick off the night.
SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair and Bayley recently picked up by the team Nelson Mandela, Matthew Thomas. He picked up Bayley. They were going to have a Hell in a Cell match. The Hell in a Cell matches bookended the pay-per-view, kicked it off and closed the show. Very funny spot in here, and it trended on Twitter for a while. Michael Cole, obviously they're in pretty much an empty building, right? Michael Cole says, Bayley now trying a spot she tried last year because she was so sweaty she couldn't get it to work. It looks like she prepared herself this year. Shut up, Michael. We can hear you. Did you see that? It was unbelievable.
Yeah, shut up, Michael Cole. Yeah, I like their interaction. It's been going on for almost a year
That's
now.
a couple years, yeah.
Yeah, or just you can definitely hear things more and hearing her, bite back at him just because we can hear it being no audience. But yeah, that added a little funny haha to the match. But I'm really glad that they did make this a Hell in a Cell match for the two of them because at the time, I think we both thought that it was going to be Charlotte and Rhea that would have it be Hell in a
Right,
Cell. We
and I
found out
think
it
that still should have
wasn't.
been that. Yeah, we'll get to
Yeah.
that in a second.
Yeah. But I'm glad, like on SmackDown where Bianca said she wants her at Hell in a Cell. And I thought they did a great job. I mean, it being Bianca's first time and then Bayley recently having.
Really, Bianca's first time in a gimmick match.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And Bayley, I forget that, usually Hell in a Cell is usually in October. So her last Hell in a Cell match with Sasha wasn't that long ago. So
Right.
she definitely used her experience to her advantage at some points, but I'm glad we got
You got the hair
Hell in a
tied
Cell
up in the
match.
chair there.
Yeah, all different spots in the ropes.
Well, the winner of the match and still SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE. As far as opening up a pay-per-view, this was an absolutely perfect match to get us started because a lot of great spots.
Including that
match that
I will say I love that finish on the ladder.
It was the KOD on the ladder. A match that really I thought it was thrown together in the last couple of weeks, but it makes sense with the rivalry that they've had. Seth Rollins defeats Cesaro. I really saw Cesaro with the win here, but Seth Rollins gets the victory. Now, for the PWR draft, it didn't matter to me. I have both guys, so I was going to get a victory and a loss at the same time anyway. It didn't matter. Your thoughts on Rollins actually getting one over on Cesaro?
I was surprised, but I'm kind of glad he got it. I was expecting a longer swing session. Take that as you may.
I was expecting the UFO, or is
Yes.
it UFO under that flying opponent?
Yes, it is the UFO. I completely honestly forgot about that, how he unveiled that at WrestleMania. I was just expecting more than 22. Was it 23 swings? That record?
Something like that. I think he got up to 16, and that's where Rollins was able to counter finally.
Gotcha. Yeah. I too thought Cesaro was going to win just because he's had such a big push as of late and a lot of momentum.
King of Swing.
Mm-hmm. But I kind of glad Rollins did. Do we need another match between Cesaro and Rollins?
We're gonna get one.
Yeah, we
Get
are.
one now.
Yeah. So now that I think, I was thinking further about it. Like, I'm kind of glad Rollins won because they do put on great matches, physical matches, and perhaps this next round of Cesaro Rollins will get the UFO back.
10-4. All right. Alexa Bliss, who hasn't really gotten matches so much, but she's been, her creepy, quirky, playground self, defeats Shayna Baszler. She used her power on Nia Jax last night, and I enjoyed that. And it ended up smacking Reggie in the face.
Yeah. I did enjoy that spot. Poor Reggie. Yeah, but Alexa Bliss using her hypnotism, that kabukiness, on all three of them. There was a little tease in her promo earlier in the night where she said, "You don't know what or who."
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, so it made me think, maybe something with the Fiend, just a slight little bit of hope. I didn't think it would have happened last night, but I thought, could it be Lily? Like, I was expecting when she said who, there would be somebody else interfering in the match, but instead, it was her eyes, her hypnotism, which she said, "Look into my eyes." I thought that was great, and it definitely worked to her advantage, and she gained the victory.
Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens also in a match, technically, I believe, thrown together. Because, when Matthew and I talked on Friday morning, I'm like, they took one of the main events off the show and put it on SmackDown. What's left for the pay-per-view? Well, here's some of the matches that were thrown in there. Sami Zayn defeats Kevin Owens. You picked up KO right before the pay-per-view today with your free agent pick, so saving yourself points. And now that I think about it, Linda K, I sent out, the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe sent out some points. Forgot to deduct 25 points from Matthew Thomas.
Yes, Yes.
We're going to have to fix that so he's not as close as he thinks.
Okay. But yeah, I made that move. I know the two of you have been shaking things up quite a lot lately. And now that I had a moment to kind of strategize a little bit more, I thought picking up KO would, put a little bit more of a dent to help me get some more points at the pay-per-view last night.
Got some.
Yeah, I got some. Okay. But I know, unfortunately, Kevin Owens didn't come off with the win. I thought perhaps he could have pulled it, despite being hurt from that Nigerian nail.
Two of them.
Commander Aziz. Oh, yeah, two of them from SmackDown on Friday. But, I could have gone either way. I could have went with Sami Zayn and got more. But I'm still confident in that pickup with KO. I think in the long run, it'll help out Team Long Time a little bit more.
You probably see him in some gimmick matches down the road, too, I bet.
Yeah.
Okay. In one of my most looked forward to matches, and still one of my favorite matches, but with a absolutely hot garbage juice finish. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair wins by disqualification. How many times? Let me explain why I thought the finish was terrible. How many times do we see people go out and attack the commentary table, whatever? This time on pay-per-view in a title match, that's a DQ. We've seen it so many times on TV and any other time where they just let it go. Now that's a DQ? Come on, man.
Right. I mean, we've seen table spots over and over again.
Right.
The top of the table.
But there's no DQs for them.
Right. The top of the table has been thrown off numerous times. I mean, we've had commentators have to move, or the stars get thrown out of them. And yeah, it really surprised me when I saw the ref calling for the bell, and I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought for a DQ it would have been something a lot more take place during this title match. Yeah, really surprised with that finish.
That is Frank Cosentino's favorite type of finish, the pay-per-view DQ. He absolutely hates it.
Yeah, definitely got that.
Almost as much as he hates people that have Doritos and Diet Coke.
Nice throwback.
Thank you. So, Matthew Thomas had Rhea Ripley, gets the loss, but the title defense, I had Charlotte Flair. I get the win, but no title win. So it kind of works out for both. And then
Yeah.
finally, back in the Hell in a Cell in an amazing match. Champion Bobby Lashley defeats Drew McIntyre. That Drew will not be able to take on Bobby Lashley anymore for the WWE Championship. Lots of ups and downs, lots of ebbs and flows. Bunch of times where you thought Drew was going to have it, but you know what? They're going to give Drew, we've talked about this for a year, they're going to give Drew a chance once we get in front of crowds again to get a crowd title victory. Even though I felt, and this is how invested I was in a match. I'm like, well, you could have a face on Raw leading the charge back in front of fans to sell tickets. So,
Right. I heard you and Matthew talk about it last week. Who you thought would possibly win the titles last night just due to having the faces on the posters being more of a draw once maybe hits the road once again with the live audience. Yeah, I still think that, especially with the outcome last night, that Drew McIntyre will indeed get a championship back once we get back to the large live audiences again. But I will say that Hell in a Cell match between the two of them,
that was great.
Absolutely tremendous. Now, watching Hell in a Cell from when was the first ever one? Just all the years, numerous years. We've had some that I thought were just okay, some that were over the top, but literally. Yes, but this was another one where I thought it had the brutality, it had the weaponry, it had everything that a Hell in a Cell match should have, especially for a championship match. I mean, we saw great utilization of the kendo sticks, the ladders, the steps, chairs, the cane, MVP slipping his cane through the door to Bobby Lashley. And these guys went all out. I mean, you saw the marks left on their bodies. My goodness. Yes. And how we started off today's show today's show of why this pay-per-view was done without a live audience. Seeing how MVP entered the cage, that was a good surprise that I didn't catch right off the bat, because it wasn't on camera, it wasn't on screen. We didn't have the audience start giving that away, where Drew McIntyre wanted the outside ref to come in, and by doing so, obviously the cage was then unlocked. He gets the Claymore, or he can get the full pin. The ref gets pulled out by MVP. I'm like, oh my.
Great ebb and flow of the match. I really thought there was some great ups and downs.
And then MVP then getting locked back in. That was great to see that too. I was like, oh, now he's stuck in the cage. So, Drew McIntyre got a bit of revenge back on MVP, and then a little bit more back and forth between him and Bobby Lashley. Very end, we have MVP interfering once again.
So MVP stays champion, retains, and what's next for Drew McIntyre?
Well, I mean, I know you threw out this idea, a few weeks ago, where maybe he might get a chance at SummerSlam against someone you can't see yet.
Right.
I mean, we've got some time to kind of build up to something if he will indeed be part of a championship match at SummerSlam. However, we do know it can no longer be against Bobby Lashley, so that would mean Bobby Lashley would have to lose the title at some point before that. Or do we?
Do we have a draft by then?
Yes, that too. Or maybe it's something that he can get maybe down the line, further down at SummerSlam, maybe.
There is talk as well, again, with that competitor that we can't see, maybe for SummerSlam, but there is talk that we smell a new competitor around Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
You never know. Maybe they push finally for that Roman Reigns and Dwayne match.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That would be... I can't wait for that moment, because we all thought, not to say we all, but many thought that would have happened at this year's Mania, but better build going to next year, and Roman still being that strong heel champion. I mean, just going back to the old days where the champions held the title for, over a year. And
let's talk about the build towards live audiences again. We've, rightfully so, I believe, complained about SmackDown and Raw being just oh, I mean, we struggle. I mean, we've heard our friend David, the Zohan hero, say that he hasn't had anything to watch in a long time either. And, I try to shine it up. You try to shine it up. Matthew tries to shine it up. Even Damien tried to shine it up. But it is a chore to watch because there's nobody there. There's nobody that we have investment in. The big names that I think we're missing that need to start coming back, we need to find them in. John Cena, we just talked about it. I mean, find a way to get The Rock in there somewhere. Where's Brock Lesnar? Is he on his way back as well? Uh, Bray Wyatt. Why is Bray Wyatt not on our TV screens doing something?
Yeah. I mean, the talks of Becky Lynch possibly making
Becky Lynch is literally on her way. I know she's probably training and ready to get back into ring shape.
Sasha Banks.
Sasha, come on back, Sasha. We're ready for you. Mandalorian filming is over. Let's go.
Right. With them hitting the road and just under a month again, perhaps this is the lead-in. This is the time to really make a huge moment to get more.
It's time. Let's go. And, the USA Network reportedly very upset that Fox was giving a Hell in a Cell match and they weren't. I would not be surprised tonight if WWE maybe does Rhea and Charlotte in the cell tonight.
You think?
I don't, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
That did not cross my mind, but that's a really good call. The way their match ended yesterday, If we get that would
and it makes
huge.
USA happy, and it makes again. Fox was already happy, and it kind of balances things. For anybody that's got two kids or more than one, you got to make things even. So my girls are 15 months apart. We have to buy two of everything. So when it comes to wrestling, if you're going to give Fox a match, you got to give USA a match.
That would make a lot of sense.
Well, that's what we do here. We try to make sense of things, and let's make sense of the PWR draft. Now, again, sorry if I blew the illusion of there being a separate accounting firm. The accounting firm in Dewey, Cheatham & Howe has now updated the totals while you were talking. And I have the new accurate totals. Are you ready?
Yes.
Again, the view never changes once you're the lead dog. The man they call Meathead leading now with 815 points. He also won the night with 180 points at Hell in a Cell. In second place, you can't breathe on my neck anymore. It's Linda Kay at 765. I mean, you can still see me, right? Pun intended. But you tied with Matthew Thomas at 140 points for the night. Matthew Thomas, after he was subtracted to 25 to be able to pick up Bailey, scored 140 at the pay-per-view. He's at 670 points. I have 815. You have 765. Matthew Thomas at 670. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PWR Draft 2021. We have been, I don't know if you've noticed this, Linda, probably from all the, mentions, and Matthew as well, and PWR 360, the Pro Wrestling Report's Twitter handle. We do tweet during the pay-per-view point total update. So if you're following along at home with the PWR Draft for 2021, make sure you're following us on Twitter at PWR Draft 2021. Linda, it was a great night of wrestling action last night. We have Raw tonight. I don't want to say I'm going to call it, but I would not be surprised if they threw us one extra Hell in a Cell match for Raw tonight, Rhea and Charlotte. I think that could be a main event right there. Close out the night.
Absolutely. That would definitely get more eyes back.
They would probably get a rise in ratings at the end. Because, exactly. I mean, if you look at the Raw over the last year to 2 years, the main event is usually the end of the second hour. And the third hour is not the main event anymore.
Yeah.
So, viewership has always been dropping on that third hour, but that's a way to do it right now. So, for Linda Kay, the man they call Meathead, we will talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.